What is up, everybody? This is the After Party. It is 10:50 a.m. and the VR Roundtable live show has just concluded. And so we are here in the After Party. It is Sunday. It is August 12th. Let me make sure that I can get my chat up and running over here. Hold on a sec. Yeah, so we are live. Okay, it looks like chat is operational. Okay, what is up, everybody? Got to admit, I don't have like any exciting stuff planned for today. Don't even have any trailers or anything. So we'll just kind of have to like go with chat and any other news stories, anything anybody wants to bring up. Fluke is in the building. Chris Cox. I am Ruts. Oh, we got Logan68, dinner out of the oven. What is up, Logan's Run? Steroid Maximus, what is going on? And so, really, the deal here is I just like to do a daily show because I've been doing it every day. So, like, even if I don't have anything, continue to do it. But this will probably be a pretty short episode here. But I thought, we could check the basic subreddits. We could kind of see what people are talking about. Maybe check Upload VR, Road to VR. But if anybody has any topics of discussion, anything that they want to get into, go ahead and pop it into chat and we can go ahead and do that. I know that on the episode that we just did, we were talking some megaton rainfall. We were talking about the persistence. We were talking a number of different games. So if anybody wanted to continue any of that discussion, or say the Star VR headset, which we're going to find out in a couple of days. Stephen McDougall says Cybernetic Chapter 4 is out today. I Am Rut says, love hanging out with you, Anthony, even if nothing is planned. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's going to be a free-for-all here. What I do, though, is I can throw on random trailers and just kind of play around like that. Let's see. I do have my audio, so that's good. Let me start the show. So I can hear my audio in the background here.
Let your will
so that is
done.
good. Paradise Decay is in the building as well. So yeah, so why don't I go ahead and I'll bounce over to the Vive subreddit. That's typically what I do, like early in the morning, get my cup of coffee. I check out the Vive subreddit, then I go to Oculus, and then I go to the PSVR subreddit. It's kind of a little routine that I've been doing, and for a long time actually. And so the number one news story on the Vive subreddit, is there any news about the official HTC wireless adapter? And that's a good question. Is there any news? The last time we heard about it, I think it was coming early in September, right? B&H Photo had that. You could pre-order it, but it looks like I'm looking at this Reddit thread here, and they don't really seem to have any new information about it. So we're still kind of waiting to find out about that. Is anybody planning, any Vive owners, are you planning on getting this official HTC wireless adapter? I can tell you, if I owned a Vive, I absolutely would get one of these things. In fact, it's almost tempting to me. Like, I haven't really been tempted on the TP Cast just because of the whole router thing, the green line, the microphone, all these little worries. Although Steve has a TP Cast, and he says a lot of that is kind of overblown, but he also said you have to be a tinkerer. You have to be somebody that likes to screw around with things. It is not totally plug and play. And there's kind of this hope that maybe the HTC Vive wireless adapter is a little bit more plug and play. And I've thought about it in the back of my mind. Should I go buy like a used Vive that somebody is selling off for kind of dirt cheap, so I can get the Vive wireless adapter and go that whole route? But there's so many other things to buy as well. We might have a new Star VR headset that maybe we could buy in a couple of days, or find out like when it's coming. There's all of that as well. So haven't gone down that road. Let's see what people are talking about in chat. Phil Yarn says, what about that Samsung Odyssey? That MRTV mentioned would be wireless coming soon. Yeah, Sebastian of MRTV came into chat at one point and said that at the IFA show, which is in Berlin, I believe, later this month, that Samsung could be showing off a brand new headset, maybe Odyssey 2. It might have like breakthrough resolution that is way beyond the resolution that we have right now, and wireless built in. How incredible would that be? So who knows, man? Maybe this month of August is going to be tremendously exciting if we get a Star VR headset, we get a Samsung headset. Isn't Google or somebody going to be showing off some screen technology at one of these shows? I don't know if it was SIGGRAPH 2018, but I thought Google was going to be showing off something as well. So, you know, there's a lot of possibilities coming out. Really interested in that. Roy Schwartz is checking in. Phil Yarn. Logan68 says he's got to see the price first. Terry Blanchard is checking in as well. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm going to bounce back to the subreddit. Now, one of the things I did see is there's a Magic Leap 1 review video that has been making the rounds, and this is by Aver Kazmer. And I believe this guy got his hands on a Magic Leap 1 early. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this video on because honestly, I know, yeah, I talk about Magic Leap way too much. I know that. But this was an interesting video to me. I'm just going to let it play in the background. We won't even worry about sound or anything. But one of the cool things about this little video is this guy, see right here, he's showing how he's mapping his entire room. And so he's looking at these different points, and then, you know, he has to wait. It dials it in. It does a little circle thing. And so he's looking all around his room. He's looking up at the ceiling, you know, all these different walls with these different surfaces. And you can see how it's making this live mesh, and it's putting it over everything. So it knows, okay, here's where a wood beam is. Here's where this other side wall is. This guy's actually doing this in a relatively complicated room. You go into just a standard bedroom that just has a ceiling and 4 walls and a floor. This guy has surfaces going on all over the place, but it's meshing it all out. Of course, one of the downsides of doing all of this is the guy's spending several minutes of time going around, you know, meshing his entire room. But when he's done with it, he can place little objects all over the place. And so I thought this was a pretty cool video. And I thought one of the things that this did show us is like, you know, Magic Leap may not be everything that we thought it was. It's obviously way too expensive for any of us to bother with at this point in time. There's no real compelling software to speak of at this current point in time, but it does have some interesting things going on here. I think this is pretty cool. I think this video does show it off in a nice way. So I'll go ahead and leave that playing in the background. Phil Yarn says Tragic Leap. He is not a fan of Magic Leap. I don't think Chris Gould is a fan of Magic Leap. A lot of people not very much of a fan of Magic Leap. And I can tell you guys this, look, I will lay off the Magic Leap. You don't have to worry too much. Do you guys ever see me talking about HoloLens? Not too much. So I'm not going to be talking about Magic Leap very much. This was the introduction of it, some new information. I might talk about the tested video when they come out with that, but I'll pretty much leave Magic Leap alone. So don't worry too much about that. Let's see here. So I'm going to go back to the Vive subreddit though. And let's see, what else were they talking about here? Where do you leave your headset? That's a good question. This guy's asking, where do you leave your headset when it isn't in use? And one guy says, I put mine down anywhere the sun doesn't reach. Another guy says, on a head on a pike. It's actually quite convenient. I have a small ottoman that is hollow inside. They're like $10 at most big box stores. Yeah, I typically, it's a bad idea, but I leave my Oculus Rift on the ground, which on this carpet that I have over here, and I usually leave my touch controllers just sitting right next to it. And I have a cat. I have a big fat cat. You guys may have even seen my big fat cat occasionally in a video walking in the background. And I love my cat. She's a really nice, fluffy cat. She loves the sunlight. She loves laying in the sunlight. And I love it when her hair gets all hot and warm and then you pet her. I like having a cat, but oh my God, hairs, cat hairs everywhere. I have a dog too, and there's dog hairs everywhere. And sometimes I pick up my Rift and I got like a few cat hairs or dog hairs on it. I'm like, oh my God, why did I leave this on the ground? I remember when my HTC Vive was brand new, I had this bag, and every time I was done with my HTC Vive, I would put it inside this like plastic bag and kind of wrap it up. And then, of course, you know, we had that video the other day, or we had that image the other day with the spider in your headset. Like, nobody wants to freaking deal with that. Let's see. VR Spry Guy is saying, I put Rift in the original box it came in. That's something you can do as well. Terry Blanchard says, PSVR on top of PSVR Pro, Vive on gaming chair mostly. Yeah, it's like if you really put your headsets away, then it makes it harder to get it out, throw it back on. We were just talking about friction on VR Roundtable, which it is a first world problem. Look at that fish that's floating around. Like, I think that's pretty cool. Like, is that not cool? Magic Leap haters that are in the building. I don't know. I think this is pretty cool. And at one point, he takes that T-Rex and he's going to put this T-Rex down, and the T-Rex is going to start walking around. And then a little bit later in this demo, you'll see that the T-Rex actually walks behind like a box or something that is on the floor, and it's occluded perfectly. Like, it looks really good. Paradise Decay says, the pancake spider. Yeah, beware of spiders. Paradise says, both his Rift and Go are on top of his PC. Logan's Run says he has a Darth Vader head that he probably puts his HMD on. That's something a lot of people are doing, is they're buying like a head that you would use for like a wig or something like that, and then you just put the HMD on that head. And so you just have your HMD on a head inside your room. A lot of people are doing that. So there's a lot of good ideas. Crunchy says putting it in the box keeps the dust off too. Yeah, I use my HMD virtually every single day. So Chris Cox says people are just lazy. They certainly are. Human beings tend to be quite a bit lazy. So that was, where do you put your HMDs when you're done with it? I'll see if there's anything going on, anything else, any big news on the Vive subreddit here. Let's see, not seeing too much. Talking about projections, episode 56. They talked about Pixel Ripped 1989 and Star Trek Bridge Crew, the Next Generation update for that late 80s Next Generation experience. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to the Oculus subreddit. Let's see what they're talking about over there. Aircar is one of the best looking Oculus VR games. Has everybody played Aircar? I believe it's a free experience. Very Blade Runner-ish. The rain is coming down. You're seeing a futuristic city. I really liked Aircar. I thought that was pretty good. They're talking about that a little bit. Skyrim VR with the mods. Oh, that Shrek movie that is in Beat Saber. Did anybody try that? And they are also talking about the Magic Leap 1 review. That, of course, that is the video that is playing right now. Like, this guy has meshed this entire room. This part here, he was talking about how that rocket and the jellyfish, how they don't really behave correctly. And here he shoots the rocket at the window, and at one point, and it goes out the window. Like, the rocket actually disappears out of the window, which is pretty impressive. So it can do that. Let's see. Logan says lighthouses on remote control make setup quicker. IPCSK says yes, Aircar is very cool. I got the tiniest little bit of motion sickness with Aircar. Just, I don't know if I was like doing like turning, like smooth turning while I was in Aircar. Got a tiny little bit of motion sickness. Phil Yarn says the mannequin head is a great idea. A lot of people are using mannequin heads, absolutely. IPCSK says, wish there were some missions or objectives in Aircar. Yeah, Aircar makes you want like that full-blown Blade Runner experience. Of course, we did have Blade Runner 2049, which is a little bit different. Let's see here. Going back over to the Oculus subreddit. They're talking about that River Ride VR, the hands-free, semi-real, slow kayak simulation. I did have a video for that. It was pretty boring. Not seeing much else there, so I'm going to take a quick check on the PSVR subreddit, see if there's any news going on over here. What they're talking about on the PSVR subreddit, the devs that did Skyrim PSVR port are now officially part of Bethesda, and they are co-developing Elder Scrolls Blades, Fallout 76, and Starfield. And we were talking about this the other day, Escalation Studios, in fact. Let me see, do I have that trailer still? I could throw that on. But yeah, so Escalation Studios, they are working on Blades. They're working on... and of course, I probably deleted that. I don't see that I have that right now. But yeah, they're working on Blades. They're working on Fallout 76. And they're also working on Starfield. And so the speculation there is, yeah, this is Bethesda Game Studios Dallas is what they're now known as. Escalation Studios based out of Dallas. The speculation there is we know Blades is going to have a VR component. And they did Skyrim VR on PSVR. They helped with Skyrim VR on PC. They helped with Fallout 4 VR on PC. It almost seems to me like, as an outsider, that Escalation Studios, that the whole idea behind Escalation Studios is basically you guys are going to be our VR specialists. And so when it comes to VR, you guys are going to be our VR studio. And so anything VR related, Escalation Studios is going to work on that. Now, a lot of people were assuming that that's the way it was going to go, but some people have come in and rained on that parade a little bit because they've said, well, wait a minute here. Escalation Studios has done a lot of like multiplayer maps for different Bethesda games, and they could be working on a lot of multiplayer aspects because Blades is going to have some multiplayer kind of aspects in terms of where you can kind of play with other people that are playing it on like the Nintendo Switch or something, or they're playing it on PC, or they're playing it on an Xbox, or they're playing it in VR. Like maybe it could be shared back and forth. So are they just working on this multiplayer stuff? What is Escalation Studios doing? Really hope that Fallout 76 could have some VR support later. Obviously, we're hoping Starfield will have VR support when it launches in the year 2025. And, Doom Eternal, we didn't hear anything at all about that. Yeah, Crunchy says, has there been anything about Doom Eternal supporting VR? No words whatsoever. Tom Lloyd checking in, talking about Magic Leap a little bit. He says, was hoping Magic Leap would be good enough to replace PCs and let people have a virtual office that follows them while walking around. This would get people out of cubicles. Long term, I think that's where we're heading to, Tom. I'm a little bit disappointed, though, when I did show you guys that Magic Leap review video where he's doing that mesh all around his room. How easy is it going to be to walk from one room to another? And like, I thought it was going to do active mapping, but it looks like it really takes some time to analyze your room. So that could be a little while away, Tom. We're a little bit away from that. But this is the beginning of AR. It is good news that AR is going to start somewhere. I mean, it's got to start somewhere. We started it with the HoloLens, but we're moving a little bit further through. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw a video on of Arca's Path. Just have this in the background here. And then I thought I could go over... Let's see, I'm back on the PSVR subreddit, just seeing if there's any other little details that came out here. Not seeing too much else over here. Yeah, Tested does have that new projections video where they're talking about Pixel Ripped. I'll definitely have to check that out. I have not seen that yet. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go over to Upload VR. We'll see if they have any stories over there. And also, once again, in chat, if anybody has a topic they want to bring up, go right ahead. This is your show as well, and there's going to be a lot of days where we simply don't have news to work with, and we have to just create something off the fly. We've received so many games in the month of, later in July and now early in August, we've had a lot of games hit. What is everybody playing? Like, what is your number one jam right now? If you could only pick one game that you've played recently that you really want to recommend to everybody, what is it? Is it Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice? Is it Pixel Ripped 1989? Is it Megaton Rainfall? Hell, maybe it could be Marvel Powers United VR. There's a game that I haven't been in a long time. Maybe it's The Persistence. Steve just recently played The Persistence. We were talking about that on the VR Roundtable episode that just ended, and I'm kind of actually interested in going back into The Persistence maybe later today, get some action on that. In fact, I can throw on a Persistence trailer. It's been a while since we've done that. Let me grab a Persistence trailer. But what is your jam right now? What are you guys playing right now? What are you into? Maybe even an Oculus Go game. Maybe you're into like a big-time Oculus Go game that you're really enjoying. Let's see, trying to find a Persistence trailer. I'll put on number 4 here. This is the one where I think they show you using like the app, that you can get an app on your phone and you can play Persistence like in multiplayer mode. Okay, so going back over to chat, what people are talking about, Tom Lloyd is saying Standout VR. That is his game. He is all about Standout VR. I Am Ruts is saying Pixel Ripped. I played a little more Pixel Ripped last night. Still haven't gotten through the entire game. Let's see. I Am Ruts says, was so blown away from Pixel Ripped. Yeah, I am just incredibly impressed with Pixel Ripped, and really for me it's the polish, it's the production values of Pixel Ripped. Really like it. Paradise Decay says he's still hooked on Skyrim VR. He added the Bigger Trees mod. What a difference it makes. Man, there's all these crazy mods. I really should try to get back into that. I have not really See, Skyrim VR is kind of one of these games that scare me, and I think it would really scare Paradise as well, because me and Paradise, we're in a similar boat. All these new games are coming out. You always got to try new games. You always got to have new stuff to talk about. You always got to have new videos with new games, especially for Paradise, where he does Let's Plays of all kinds of new games. Doesn't a game like Skyrim VR scare the living hell out of you? Because you could basically live your life in Skyrim VR. You could play it for months and months and months, and you could forget about everything else. That scares me. Logan68 says, late to the game, but Alien Isolation. And based on what Fluke Rogi was talking about a little bit earlier, he just says, he's saying that Alien Isolation shits all over the Persistence. That if you think the Persistence is good, play some Alien Isolation. So I maybe I should just go ahead and grab Alien Isolation, bite the bullet, and maybe try that game out. That might be something I need to do. Terry Blanchard says he's been playing flat games recently. Oh my God. We have a traitor in the building. Terry Blanchard, he discovered COD World War II having dogfights with Spitfire planes. So he is back to the flat games. Phil Yarn says his number one go-to game is Gunheart. Gunheart is solid. Cyan VR is hooked on Catan VR. Haven't tried that. I do want to get back into Gunheart because the last time I was in there, they had really reworked that game. Chris Cox is talking about how he has got back into Assetto Corsa. He still needs to finish Hellblade. I've been trying to bang away at Hellblade. I've gotten farther and farther in Hellblade, but I'm still working on it. Fluke Rogi says, not my exact quote, Anthony, but I will endorse it, talking about how Alien Isolation shits all over the Persistence. No, that is an exact quote. That is exactly what Fluke said. He said it just absolutely shits all over Fire Sprite. They all need to quit and find a new line of work because Alien Isolation just killed it. Phil Yarn says Gunheart is definitely worth it. So that's what people are talking about in chat. I Am Ruts also mentions that Wreck Royale is actually very fun with squads. Gary Haylock is also checking in. He says he got something for $10, but I'm not seeing his previous message. Not sure what he's talking about over there. And then SAMIK81, he's been playing a lot of tower defense games in VR lately. Tom Lloyd has been talking about ODG glasses. Why do I not have an episode on ODG. I am aware of ODG. In fact, the way I understand it is the HoloLens technology, isn't it kind of based on ODG in some kind of way? I'd have to go back and look at that story some more. Game Vet says, I need Hellblade. Yeah, so, the Rex Terra also playing Pancake, so we have a lot of traders. I don't go back to Pancake. The only Pancake game that I've gone back to was Horizon Zero Dawn, and the only reason I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn was because of the fact that I had a 4K TV, a big-ass 4K TV. Never tried it. I just got a PS4 Pro, not too long earlier. And it's like, I want to play some 4K. So I did try Horizon Zero Dawn. That was like the last time I went back to flat gaming. Oh, Gary is talking about Alien Isolation. He grabbed it for only $10. Is it still $10 right now? Because I really need to grab it if it's still $10. Scion VR says, Pancake gaming is dead to me, except for Mist Online. Roy Short says $2,000 as well. He might be talking about the ODG glasses. Phil Yarn says he's always wanted to finish Doom VFR, but for some reason that game runs like ass. Which, yeah, if you're on an Oculus Rift, Doom VR does not like Oculus Rifts. It does not like underpowered PCs. Doom VFR, I'm probably not really going to play that game until I get the PSVR version of it, which is kind of lame, but that's probably where I will be playing Doom VFR. I've barely scratched the surface of Doom VFR. Actually, the Doom I need to go back to is freaking classic Doom. That's what I need to go back to. I need to start dialing that in. I'll throw this China Joy montage on the screen here. Some interesting China Joy games that were shown. Just have that in the background there. Paradise Decay says Alien Isolation is dead cheap. If you search around, you can grab it with all the add-ons. Stop the show and get it now. Okay, folks, show's over. I am going to grab Alien Isolation. Chris Cox says best 2D-ish platformers I played are Inside and Little Nightmares. And Phil Yarn says, I'd like to bang away at Senua. Yeah, I've been banging my head on Senua, playing it more. Finally got through a couple of the doors that I was blocked at. I'm trying to think, where am I stuck right now? Did I get to another door that I'm stuck? See, I basically get to all these different places where you're at a gate or something. I was recently at a gate where it looked like an N and a Y. It looked like New York, like an N and a Y. And you got to find where this N and a Y is. And you hear all these voices telling you, follow the screams, look at the runes, follow the screams or whatever. And I'm looking everywhere for an H and a Y, and I'm trying to line this tree up and that tree up. And then I finally go to the internet and I go to YouTube and I look at somebody's walkthrough and I just go to that exact section, and they walk right up to a certain tree and they're like, oh, here's the N, here's the Y, there it is, bada boom, bada bing, bam, the door opens. And I'm like, how did I not notice this? So Senua's Sacrifice makes me feel like a real dumbass, because every time there's all these little puzzles, they look simple as hell when you solve them, but I'm like, I looked everywhere around this world. What is going on? Paradise Decay says, so we all agree Anthony should have a show one day on hidden gems. Well, you know what? We did have a show on VR games that were flying under the radar. We did have one of those little shows, but it wasn't necessarily hidden gems. If we do a hidden gem show, I'm going to be talking about Cyberpunk VR for about 20 minutes, so I don't know if anybody wants to deal with that. Let's see here. I was going to go back. Let me go to Road to VR and see if there's anything new at Road to VR. I'll double check that real quick. Excuse me. So Road to VR, they still have the 5 best free HTC Vive games, the 5 best free Oculus Rift games. Don't know that I really disagree with any of their opinions there. They have their Electronauts review, which got 4.5 stars. I really think Gary has got to try Electronauts, like seriously. Like, I know Gary is kind of shying away from it because he's thinking he doesn't want to have He's not into rhythm action games at all, so he's kind of shied away from that. But oh man, you got to get into Electronauts. You got to give it a try. And I really feel like they're making a terrible mistake if they don't have some kind of demo for that, because it is quite cool. So not a bad review over there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to chat, see what people are talking about here. Phil Yarn says, I'm so embarrassed. I've been playing the Black Ops 4 beta, and it's been fun. Please don't hurt me. No, it's okay, Phil. You are a flat gamer. You're a poser. No, you're not a poser. But Phil, let me ask you this. Do you listen to like flat gaming podcasts and stuff like that? Like, do you listen to like Giant Bomb and stuff? I used to be into all of those podcasts, Giant Bomb, Kind of Funny Games, all these different flat gaming podcasts. And ever since I got so into VR and just stopped playing flat games, I just don't even pay attention to those anymore. But I know there's a lot of, there's some people out there that are like, oh yeah, I play flat games, I play VR games, I play AR games, it's all good. I'm playing my Nintendo Switch. All games are good games. It's just when I play flat, I think I could be playing VR right now. I could have this world surrounding me right now. Why am I playing flat? I don't know. I'm probably being reductive there. Let's see. Hybrid Energy says, Anthony needs to not add more shows. He needs to play games more and for a longer period of time. Yeah, Iceberg Slim, baby. I play games for a limited amount of time. I was playing some Pixel Ripped last night. What else did I get into yesterday? I played something I hadn't played in a long time. But yeah, I know. I need to play more games. Absolutely. I need to finish games too. Paradise Decay says, I still have to play flat games. He has to play flat games, but he prefers VR. Kaylee Allen says, I've been hooked on No Man's Sky. Is it true it's coming to VR? We still don't know. We're hopeful that it will come, but we just don't know when it's going to happen. Hybrid Energy is talking to IPCSK. He's saying, sorry, man, using a gamepad in first-person games makes me sick. Really? That's how I played Resident Evil on PSVR. I had my DualShock 4 here, and all I did was push forward. And so if I wanted to go down that hallway, I turned my body, push forward. If I wanted to go down that, so I just turned my body and pushed forward. That is a great way to play first-person games with just a regular controller if you want to do that. Logan68 is saying tech music, no thanks. I think he's talking about Electronauts. There's actually a few different styles of music in there. It's not completely like techno music 100%. There is a few different styles there. Always super sampling me. Hi, Anthony. Did you know something about the new Star VR headset that will be announced next Tuesday? No, but we did speculate that earlier today on the VR Roundtable show. We were speculating, and I'm looking here. I think I do actually have a Star VR video I could throw on real quick, and we could talk about that for a second. Let me go ahead and find it. Yeah, this is a Star VR and Zero Light premium virtual reality. This is a little video that we had the other day. I don't have a lot of footage on Star VR, but it does show you the headset here. Now, of course, the biggest question, so we kind of got into this discussion, is this Star VR, is this going to be a consumer-facing product? And I believe it was Colin was in the chat for VR Roundtable, and he's like, you're stupid if you don't think this is a consumer-facing product because of what it says on the website, that we have made this for you, and that if this was an arcade thing, they wouldn't do that. And I don't know that I'm guaranteed, I don't know that I would say that that is absolute proof that this is going to be consumer facing, because we have to examine the entire reality of this. And now Acer is a majority owner in this company, and Acer has a deal with Microsoft for Windows Mixed Reality. We've already seen the Acer headset. You can go to Amazon.com, and for probably $240, you can grab yourself an Acer Mixed Reality headset. It's available right now. I would wonder personally from a legality standpoint and from a business standpoint, a lot of times, like if Acer went to Microsoft and Microsoft said, hey, bro, we're going to give you HoloLens tracking, HoloLens 1.0 tracking for free. All you got to do is make a reference design headset. And so they sign a deal. But there could be like a non-compete kind of clause that was part of that deal that says, okay, if you're going to come out with an Acer mixed reality headset, then you can't go buy Star VR and start making your own consumer headset as well. Or who knows? What if this is a Windows mixed reality headset? Of course, they'd have to put a couple cameras on there, right? And then they'd have to put the HoloLens inside out tracking into it. Or do they have a deal with Valve? Look at that huge cord coming off the back of that guy's neck. Do they have a deal with Valve? Could this Acer Star VR headset be a Steam VR headset? Man, would that piss off Pimax? But you know, Valve doesn't give a damn. Like, Valve doesn't care if they piss off Pimax a little bit, but that would be a shocker of shockers. So yeah, August 14th, we're only a couple of days away. So Tuesday, we will have more information and this puzzle will be solved. We'll know, is there another next gen headset that just came out of the blue to shock it and distill Pimax thunder? Oh my goodness, how painful would that be for all the Pimax Kickstarters? Are there any Pimax Kickstarters in the building? Because that would be painful. Okay, Hybrid Energy says, I guess that's why I'm not excited at all for Resident Evil 7 in VR, because I doubt Capcom would add motion controller support. If they don't, I don't care if it's ported. Just use Vorp X. Phil Yarn is saying, it's just that VR has no really good sports games like baseball or basketball, and that's what I use my flat time. Phil, have you ever tried VR Sports Challenge on the Oculus Rift by Sanzaro Games? The basketball is kind of cool in there, but we don't have a good baseball game, and the basketball is more just like shooting baskets, passing the ball, shooting baskets, but I did enjoy it. Let's see. IPCSK talking to Fluke says, yeah, I like pancake games too. I'm hooked on Ghost Recon Wildlands multiplayer. That's pretty good. Wish they made a VR mode for that. Fluke says, yeah, ages since I played Wildlands, but would love to see those landscapes in VR. Paradise is saying, if people have tried Star VR in the arcades, they are more than likely going to be interested in a version for their home and their Steam library. Well, we know Star VR was used, I believe, in IMAX arcades, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, VR Spry Guy. So you are a Pimax Kickstarter. So my question for you is, on Tuesday, if Star VR says, hey, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This headset is a Steam VR headset. Not only that, it's coming with Knuckles. It's coming with 2.0 lighthouses, and you can order yours now for the low, low price of $999.99. How would that make you feel, VR Spry Guy? Would that disappoint you? Would you be like, I'm good. I'm still sticking with Pimax. You know, it doesn't bother me that much. These are the chances that you take when you kickstart something. Jay Benson, another Pimax backer, but I have low expectations other than watching movies. Martin Anderson, another Pimax backer, checking in, and he still hopes, even though he is a Pimax backer, he's still hoping that Star VR is a consumer headset. That is cool. That, yeah, I mean, it's good to be in that kind of viewpoint. Like, the more the merrier, man. Somebody come out with something that blows me the hell away. If I have to sell off an existing headset and take a little bit of a loss, it's not the end of the world. You know, we can sell off a headset and take a little bit of a hit, and then we got a brand new headset that is killing it. So, you know, we shouldn't be too scared about that. Andy Sky says Pimax should call their headset True 1440p VR headset. It's going to hurt Oculus CV2 sales if they keep lying about it. I don't know how it's going to hurt Oculus. VR Spry Guy says, I'm not sure. We don't know anything yet. So he just can't make up his mind about how he would feel about that if Star VR tried to get into the Hammerhead Shark game. Pimax 8K resolution, my butt. Andy Sky is saying that. Yeah, so, we're just going to have to wait and see. But, you look at these red dots. Like, look at the red dots on that Star VR. Like, the way they're doing their tracking and stuff, I don't see that working in a consumer situation. So what are they going to switch to? And then also, to get the true resolution, it would probably have to have virtual link, right? So that means if you buy this, there isn't even a graphics card available that supports it yet. Now, I know they're coming right around the corner. That's the other rumors we got going on. Late August, could we see brand new graphics cards? Okay, I'm going to throw on a different trailer. We've been running on this for a minute. Let me throw on Dispatched. This is one of my favorite VR experiences by Here Be Dragons. If you guys have access to the Oculus store and can play Oculus Rift stuff, this is an absolute must-try experience in my opinion. This little thing called Dispatch is really, really cool. Chris Cox says, I like Sweeviver, but he is massively positive about everything. So he's kind of like, oh man, what's his name? I completely forgot his name now. The DLC, Kanata, Jeff Kanata, positive about everything. Phil Yarn says, yes, I have tried VR Sports, and it is good, but I need something with a little more substance. Phil, so you're a sports guy, kind of like me. I wouldn't mind playing like Madden, FIFA, NBA 2K, or some kind of baseball game in VR, but I think what they really need to do, tabletop mode, I think that is the solution. Instead of trying to put me in a football game like 2MD VR football where I'm the quarterback, that's great, but it's very hard to do. But if you do a tabletop mode, like you're playing Senua's Sacrifice, and you see little Madden guys running around, or little NHL hockey characters skating around, or little FIFA players running all over the pitch, and they look like little holograms, I think that is the way we do VR sports. Phil Yarn, what say you? Airman929565 says, games have always pushed graphics cards. Deal with it. Hashtag deal with it. Let's see. Oh, Chris Cox says, I've watched him play shit games and say they had good graphics. I think he's talking about Sweeviver. Hey, Sweeve just wants to be a positive guy. Oh, Paradise is saying, Sweeviver is also very critical. I speak to him daily. Okay, Paradise is dropping names right there. Chris Cox, I've never seen him critical in any of his videos. Yeah, I don't know. I like Sweeviver because I like his attitude, and he's kind of like a high on life kind of guy, which I think is kind of cool. I like that. I can be negative at times, but I try to be positive too. IPCSK says, but can those new NVIDIAs run Crysis? Yeah, Crysis VR. When is that going to happen? Oh, Scion VR says, subscriber count has rose by 1, headed in right direction. Just wait, Scion VR, because 3 subscribers are going to drop. So for every new one I add, I'm going backwards, folks, but it's all right. I am not even tripping. I will continue to bang out this show on a regular basis. Scion VR says Echo Arena is basically hockey and Ultimate Frisbee in space. Yeah, but like real hardcore hockey fans, we want real legit hockey. I'm not actually a hardcore hockey fan, but the real ones want it. We want FIFA VR. By the way, Phil Yarn or anybody in chat, has anybody tried Virtual Reality Football Club or like Football Nation VR? Anybody try that? It was kind of interesting. Oh, VR Spry Guy, he's saying he got Alien Isolation Collection in his cart right now at Fanatical for $9 US. So I need to remember that and look for that later today. Search for the Mother VR mod. Yeah, I might actually have to try Alien Isolation because so many people have said so many good things about it. It's kind of like Subnautica. Like Subnautica was my jam because so many people said so many good things. Finally tried it. I was always worried it wasn't going to run on my PC. I haven't played Subnautica because we got absolutely hammered with all those games in mid-July, late July, early August. So anyway, I'm going to throw on a different trailer here. I definitely need to drink some water. My mouth is dry as can be. So I'll throw on an ATEC Cybernetic trailer because they did just add something new to ATEC Cybernetic. Okay, VR Spry Guy is saying use Summer 10, Anthony, as far as that. Scion VR, I heart Subnautica. Dude, I heart plus another heart Subnautica. Subnautica is badass. Love that game. Super cool. VR show. Oh, Epics. What up? Epics is in the building. Hi again, everyone. What is up, Epics? So nice to see you. So glad that you're back doing shows. That is awesome. Chris Richardson, who has played Magic Leap 1, says Sweeviver doesn't waste his time on making a negative video. If he doesn't like something, he doesn't make a video. Simple. That's kind of the way I am with some of the game codes that I get. Like, I'll get game codes to all kinds of weird, unknown stuff. And if it just never speaks to me in any way, shape, or form, sometimes I just don't even mention it. And it's not that I'm trying to, like, avoid it because I don't want to talk bad about it. It's just I got enough good things to talk about. Why am I going to talk about bad stuff, you know? Fluke Rogi says, Anthony, are you a fan of the original Alien films? That's a big part of it for me. The way they nailed the feeling of the first film. Oh, he's starting some excuses in case I don't like it. Yeah, I love the original Alien movies. You know what's crazy? Almost everybody hates Alien 3. I actually liked Alien 3. I think Alien 3 is underrated, but obviously Alien 1, Alien 2... Alien 1 was the best. Alien 2 is kind of like over-the-top action, but really good. It's got a lot of quotable quotes in Alien 2 as well. You know, James Cameron, the whole deal. And then Alien 3, like, everybody hated Alien 3. I liked Alien 3. Am I crazy? Epics liked Alien 3 too. Gerard O'Hara is saying the new Doom looks great. Hope it comes to VR on launch. We haven't heard anything about it, so I'm starting to think that if Doom Eternal does have a VR mode, we are going to be waiting for that. Okay, I put this little video here of a Corsa, Assetto Corsa Competizione. Assetto Corsa Competizione. Is anybody going to pick this up? I think you got to wait till October 10th, though, to get the VR mode. I forget who earlier in chat said they were playing Assetto Corsa. Phil Yarn says, Anthony, you are pretty positive for the most part, but when it comes to playing a game out of a different store other than Steam, boy, that's when your horns come out. No, what it is, Phil, is if you don't have a hardware platform, don't have a store unless you're Steam and you have first mover's advantage. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Gerard O'Haran says, Alien 2 all the way. Chris Gould says, it's just as useful to know what games to avoid as it is to know the good ones. Constructive criticism is good. Chris Cox says, it's only releasing with one car and one track. Are you talking about Assetto Corsa Competizione on October 10th? That would suck. I'm going to take a sip of water here, so why don't I pump this volume up for a sec? Be right back. Okay, there we go. Got some water. Feel a lot better. Okay, Epics is saying he's excited about Pimax in terms of pushing tech. Epics, I'm sure you've probably already given your take on this, but what's your take on Star VR? Consumer, arcade only? What do you think? Phil Yarn says, no, I didn't try any of those soccer games. And Chris Cox says, yes, Assetto Corsa Competizione is getting one car and one track on release, then another car and track October, plus VR support. Phil Yarn says Subnautica terrifies me. I haven't actually gotten to the point in Subnautica where everybody does get terrified. I know there is a part where people get crazy terrified by some parts of Subnautica. So far, there hasn't been a horror game that has brought me to my knees yet. And I say this when I might be trying Alien Isolation maybe later today if I get around to it. That might be the game that actually does bring me to my knees. But I've tried pretty much every horror game in VR, and I haven't like had to quit out of a horror game yet so far, but I'm sure there will be a day when that happens. Okay, so I need to throw something else on the screen. How about Dr. Splorchy? Here's a nice colorful video. Squanch Games. I believe this is for Daydream, I think, right? Okay, oh, I am Ruts, so he's got Mother installed, and he's going to try the Alien Isolation, if I could talk, right after the stream. So I am Ruts is going to jump in it. Paradise says, make sure to have some clean underpants ready to go. Yeah, so we'll see how scary that is. I'm going to go ahead and bounce back over. We'll take one last quick of these subreddits, and then I got to bounce out of here, folks. My throat and voice can only take so much. Yeah, talking about some frame drops in Skyrim VR. There's a game I need to go back to, but it does scare me to death. Let me check Oculus real quick. They're talking. Has anybody tried the Shrek movie beat map for Beat Saber? Has anybody tried that? Because it's gotten a lot of pub on the subreddits. I watched a short video of it and I was like, nah, I'm good. I actually haven't played Beat Saber in a long time, because what I like to do with Beat Saber, if I was going to play some Beat Saber, I like to take off my little headphones that are attached to my Oculus Rift and actually just use speakers and pump the volume hella loud. Oh, Simplex says, have I tried A Chair in the Room? Can you believe this? I have not. Although I have played Exorcist VR, and that was scary. That really was scary. Oh, and Epix is talking about somebody is a nice guy in person. Not sure who he's talking about. Honestly, I've yet to meet any arses in VR. Yeah, so Epix has met a lot of friendly people. That is cool. That is always nice. So Epix, you never play Rec Room or what are the other games where you get a lot of assholes? Sometimes Echo Combat, you'll get some assholes in there. Yeah, he's saying you've never played Rec Room. Fluke says the same exact thing I thought. Chris Cox says, I quit on the second level of Arctica 1 when the door shut and it all goes. Yeah, it got scary, man. Arctica 1 got hella scary, that one little level. Yeah, it did. Arctica 1, you know, there's a game we forget about. Arctica 1 had some really powerful gunplay. I mean, I know it was the node-based teleportation, but once you get over that fact, I think Arctica 1, like, it's a game I've kind of forgotten about, but man, it's very AAA, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, okay, let me double check. I didn't check PSVR subreddit. I'll check that one real quick. Apologies for my throat here. I really should mute that out. I'm just afraid of like leaving my mute button on for 20 minutes. Yeah, so nothing really on PSVR subreddit. I'll double check upload and Road to VR again. See, this is what I do when I have nothing to talk about. I just check the 3 subreddits, I check upload and Road to VR, and then I go back to chat. This is what we do. Now I can't even find Road to VR. Oh, here we go. Yeah, no. So there's no late breaking news. So that's pretty much it. So, you know, we're having lots of fun, folks. It is Sunday. Of course, this is August 12th. Next week is going to be an interesting week. SIGGRAPH 2018. You know, I think actually, technically, I think SIGGRAPH 2018 actually begins today, actually, right? And then tomorrow the 13th and then the 14th. So hopefully we'll get some good information with SIGGRAPH 2018. We do have the Echo Combat beta, another beta that starts up next Thursday. So we do have that. I'm not sure if there's any big PSVR or PC VR releases coming next week. There's nothing that jumps out to me. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, we'll get into all of that stuff next week. And I will be back tomorrow, Monday, normal bat time, normal bat channel, 11 a.m. Typically, this show normally will be 11 a.m. That's usually when we do it. You know what? I smell bacon, guys. I smell bacon over there. I think my wife is making breakfast for the kids. It's kind of late, but I might have to grab me some bacon. Simplex PL. Pro tip. When you have to start checking Reddit and upload VR, then just finish the stream instead. Yeah, you know, one of the things I want to do at some point is maybe get these shows under 50 minutes. It's something I've thought about, keeping these shows under 50 minutes. But anyway, folks, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of Daily Vlog Live. I will see everybody tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific. See you guys then. Take it easy. Have a wonderful weekend. Later.